According to this thing, the grid is going completely to some other type of what they call load, and the UPS isn't doing anything. We have some solar going into this and then the battery. But it doesn't show me that on the app. And it shows the UPS has 0. And it shows 172 volts, 235, 120 watts, 100 watts. I'm sure, so what we're seeing on here is different. It's going to here to there. They used to go here and they would come out the bottom of that and go to this thing here. But it just doesn't make sense what they're doing. Now see, because my battery is at 5.29, it's not going to shut the grid off. But it does look like it can limited send solar to the battery, but if I flip the grid off, I guarantee you the amount will go to like 800, 900. So that's what it looks like right here. It shows no solar production. It shows already 4.4 kilowatt. Now it just changed. It shows this is going here, that's going there. So if that number gets high enough, I guess it'll shut off the grid. 52.9. If I come in here to our maintenance thing, let's see. What to do? Let's go 52.9. Just see what happens. Okay. It's going to take a while for the effect to show up on this. But if I look over here, it should change. And it should drop the grid. Well, that's got nothing to do with the grid. It's got to do with charging the battery. I just thought about that. Yeah, so that's not going to shut the grid off. That sucks. And the grid wasn't even charging the battery. Alright, well that ain't gonna work. We want the grid to turn off. We don't want it to stop charging the battery, we just want it to stop charging and carrying the load. Now look, see, now it's going back over to the battery. Probably because the voltage has dropped below 52.9. So that voltage has nothing to do with this thing turning on and off from the grid. I remember now. So, in order to get it to shut off from the grid, the voltage has to go higher than the discharge voltage, I think. Alright, well I don't have any way to make it do anything, so the only thing I can do is I come in here and turn the grid off. And let's observe what it does. So all it did was it turned the whole thing off completely, except for the limited amount of solar is charging the battery. So I can turn the grid back on and make an observation and see what it does. And it would probably just turns my load back on directly. So there's apparently not enough to do anything. The other thing I noticed in the past is anytime there's a notice, you have to reset the inverter for it to actually go back to inverting. So we confirmed that the other thing went on. It's completely turn off the inverter all the way all together. Everything. Okay, the inverter's off. Okay. We got no grid. It's back on. Wait for it to start. Let's see what it starts doing. So it's charging the battery. Now let's see how well is it charging the battery. 120 watts. 9 watts or 100 watts. You have to read the point kilowatt. So we got 120 something on one and 110 on the other. We don't have enough to run anything. But see, there's power in the battery still. And if we put a load on it, it'll come up. So it's finally updated itself. According to it, we're at 55 and 5. But this thing's really slow to update. I can see right there, I'm at 110, not 55. So, alright, so hopefully we can get to the bottom of this crap today. It's already 80 degrees inside the house at 8 o'clock in the morning. Because I didn't get up at like 6 or 7, so I got up at like 7:30. Yeah, at 7:30 it was already 80 in the house because the coldest temperature here is 6. After that, it rapidly increases. So you got to get up before 6, close all the windows. Okay, so let's refresh this thing. Okay. So we had 236 watts going in here. Only 158 is going to the battery. The other is idle consumption. So, we have a normal condition because we've now reset the thing. Turn the inverter on, it's going to click just like that because we have normal condition, and it's going to attempt to power the load, which is just a 500 watt air conditioner right now. The one out here isn't even hooked up, so it's just the one in the bedroom. It'll be a while before we see it show up on here. Alright, so there's not enough sun right now to run a 500 watt air conditioner. We're pulling 378 out of the battery. I don't remember what our settings are. We're at 52.1 volts. So we don't want to do that. We're gonna hit the battery BMS on one of them on accident. I do think the easiest thing to do is to set this probably to charge from certain time to a certain time, and then it's going to shut itself off. I think. It's where it gets complicated is whether there's AC charge, there's AC load, but we don't seem to have any settings for the load. The discharge cutoff is at 51.8. So we hit 51.8, it should cut off. And then the EOD on grid is 51.8. But what's the other one? We have 52. We're already at the point where the AC should have already kicked on if we had it on. Oh no, we're not. Okay. So let me turn the grid on and see what it does. I don't know if it'll like immediately switch. It immediately comes on and goes to the load, but then now goes back off. So it's doing something much different. Before it was bypassed straight into the load. Now it appears it's going into the inverter. Possibly doing nothing at all, actually. Yeah, I show here it's not even on. We'll have to come back and wait for it to update. So what it did was it came on for a second and went back off. And it's just sitting there. You can see 236 volts on the side, but it's not doing anything. And our battery's at 42 volts. We're putting out like 226 watts. 400. Coming out of the battery. The load's 507. The solar's basically just feeding the inverter 100 watts. And the rest is idle consumption. Let's take a look and see here. Okay, so AC charge is supposed to start at 52 volts and end at 52.9. That's just what I put for it. Well, technically it should probably switch. We could try and play with that number and just see what it does, but the idea is to give it a little boost for a second, but then switch back to solar, hopefully. We set the warning voltage also to 52, which is not great, but and the cutoff is 51.8. And the EOD is 51.8. Let's set that to 52 and see what happens. Now, I don't really want it to switch over to grid if the battery can keep supplying the load with the assistance of the solar, because as the sun starts to raise up a little higher, we're going to make more and more solar. So I just need the battery to hold out a little bit longer, basically. Okay, so that didn't do anything. It didn't turn the grid on. The grid is supposed to come on at that voltage, but it's not. So again, another quirky, weird thing about this inverter. There could be some other setting hanging it up, but I'm pretty sure with the EOD one, with the charge voltage, why would it not start charging it? Okay, so I got it right now where I can hear it click every once in a while. And if I watch the inverter, I see it switching over to grid because it's at that 52 volts. And then it quickly switches back off. So it's right at that threshold. So basically, every little bit it's switching back and forth, but the monitoring software isn't showing it because I guess it's happening too fast. So really, this monitoring software is not real time or even accurate. You can't even tell that this is happening because you're browsing through a web browser and they're storing your information on their server. Wherever the hell that is, probably somewhere in, I don't know, probably somewhere in China. Because, I mean, it costs them money to run a server. So why don't they just give you the software and let you monitor it directly? The one thing that they do like to do is that they can do tech support, because they can look into your thing right now and see what it's actually doing. The other reason that they've sold it this way is because I could go to somewhere else and log into my inverter with an internet connection and see what it's doing. But I don't like how it doesn't show you everything. Like, I can observe what's happening on the inverter itself, and I don't see it showing up on here. And you see, I just heard it click. And you listen, it'll click again. Those two clicks were the grid coming on and the grid going back off. Probably bringing it from 52 to 52.9 volts per second. And that's it. So click, click. So I don't know how many times it's going to do it for. Probably off and on for a while until the sun gets better. I thought for sure I was able to produce quite a bit of power at 8:30 in the morning, but I guess I'm wrong. Or I've got something wrong somewhere. A loose wire or something. The only way I can really go out there and find out, I could go out there and take my clamp meter and test everything. Let's see if we can catch this thing clicking. So when it clicks, okay, see? It's clicked. When it goes back. So that's what it does. So at least I got it to where the grid isn't stuck on at this moment. So I guess that's a plus.